Canvas Town, Good Luck Charm, and Ryo vibing with Rudo like this? Bro, chapter 25 was everything I wanted and more after coming back from a 2-week fucking break, which almost killed me. Figuratively and literally. I wasn't expecting all these things to take place and like all of this realness to happen this chapter. Honestly, I'm fucking glad that it is what it is because, bro, we have a lot that we need to talk about this chapter, bro. K Urana, I appreciate you, big dog. I appreciate you. Like, this chapter was super fucking dope. Now, we're gonna go over a few topics from this chapter that I thought was like very, very, very important. And let's start from the beginning with Rudo actually washing his hands, right? And his gloves. Because you guys know what it takes for Rudo to be able to do this. It takes a lot of strength and resistance, even though strength and resistance is basically the same thing, because of how painful it is, right? There's no way he can do that without like writhing in fucking pain and agony, which led to the Ryo moment. Like, Ryo was just in his room vibing anyway. And why was she there with her scissors out? And it's crazy. She was just worried about him because she heard him in the room. And I think she is one of the first people to see his hands underneath, like his actual hands, aside from like maybe the doctor and Engine and Recto, because as y'all remember, even the doctor lady was reapplying his bandages at the time. And I'm sure Engine saw that, which led to Ryo saying something that I did expect because I've said it before. I felt like those two hit it off way too well. So there had to be some sort of like semblance between the two of them, right? Like there had to be some sort of attachment between the two of them that maybe she saw herself in him, right? Like the things that they may have dealt with. She said, parents give us all kinds of stuff, both good and bad. And it was the way that she looked back when she said bad that caught me off guard. I was just like, oh, so they're doing it. K Urana is giving us details without like a full ass paragraph, right? Like context clues are so important when it comes to reading manga like this. And like I said, the art, this entire chapter, I have to mention this before we go even further, the art was fucking special, bro. I want you guys to look at the not only the bandages, but his hands, bro. It's so fucking detailed what he's dealing with. Like you see the remnants of his skin and all of that, dude. That shit blows my mind every time I look at it because you can see the pain in his face on the panel above. Bro, fucking awesome. But back to the whole Ryo situation. I knew that there was going to be some tragic, I don't even want to use the word tragic because it's got to be some deep shit. There's some traumatizing thing that may or may not have happened in Ryo's life that led her to this point, you know what I'm saying? Because she's the super chipper, happy, always putting on a smile character that we've known her to be so far, but we know where that stems from, right? For some of us who have read manga and watched anime for fucking more than a decade, we know where this stems from, bro. And then we saw Gris, Engine, and Follow, because if you look at the bottom, there was somebody else there, and I'm assuming that's Follow at this point, sitting outside of this office with this dude working on some shit. Now, we come to find out that this is probably going to be Rudo's mask, like his full like face mask, which I'm super fucking excited to see because I want to see what the fuck they're gonna create with that shit because they call it the full face, right? And bruh, that shit is so cool. But one of the things that like really like caught me off guard was that Rudo is going for just a good luck charm. Now, I don't know if y'all know, but good luck charm is code word for we're using you as fucking bait, because they legitimately did that last mission and you can literally see it in Samyu's face, bro. when you look down, like when you look at that same panel, you can see in his Seimu's face that she's just like, ah, well, here we go again. We're throwing this fucking child in the middle of danger just to, you know, get some answers. But honestly, it's always for the best when we do this, because this is going to lure out the big bad boss that we fucking saw last chapter, because he's looking for him. And we already got a hint of what was to come in the last chapter, because when we were figuring out where we were going, we're going to the city of graffiti, Canvas Town. Now, why do I bring that up? Because if you go to the last chapter and you look at what the boss was ripping off that whole time, right? Now, I know I went into a spiel about it in the last video, but we were 100% wrong, because he says the janitors, the city of arts, which could be the city of graffiti, which is, you know, Canvas Town. Desert Altar, which we're basically going into the Forbidden Zone, which is where I think that is. And then, you know, he goes into all that other shit about Rudo. Very important. Very important, because man, I think we are in for some shit. And then we meet the entire crew who is rolling with us. Oh my God, this is one of my favorite like crew team up panels because of how sick they all look, bro. This looks like a crew who's willing and ready to go. But crazy enough, this is legitimately the crew who pulled up last time to rescue Rudo and the gang, right? Like Rudo, Zanka, Gris and them. And bro, Delmon is one of the funniest fucking characters so far. I legitimately cannot wait to see this animated, because I think this moment is gonna be huge. And Tomzy, he seems really dope, but I wanna talk about a few things that I know a lot of people are gonna point out, right? So I understand that nobody is gonna know what Akuta and Eager are, right? Now, we all know that there are quite a few factions within the janitors, right? Like we know there's a bunch of different groups. They all have different symbols with them. So knowing that Engine, Ryo, and Zanka are from Akuta, right? They're from the Akuta branch. And this was brought up, I think, when they went to the janitors HQ for the first time. I think that was chapter 7, if I'm not mistaken. And we were talking about, you know, all these other janitors coming from their respective crews and meeting up at HQ for some specific reason, and they didn't know why. So we have that much going for us, right? And the supporters are the supporters, right? The supporters, I think they are their own crew. You know what I mean? Like how we have Akuta and Eager. I think the supporters are just a crew themselves. So it's crazy that they realized, like the boss and Seimu and them, they realized just how difficult this was gonna be, which is why they sent, instead of like 5 supporters, we're going with fucking 6 Genki users, bro. We're going with 6 Genki wielders and 3 supporters, bro. Like, these motherfuckers understand that this might be war, right? So they might be sending the best of the best in order to do this, which is really fucking sick, right? But I will say, watching Delmon go off like this, I really wish they would have added the one panel of Rudo from chapter 23. I think it was chapter 23, where he was like, oh, it's so good, where he was eating the candy and shit, right? Because it would have fit this moment, bro. And it was so funny how it went from like super hype to super dim, because everybody was just in the car chilling. It's like they went from being super hype and then they had to put their game face on, because they already knew what the fuck they was getting into when they were going. Man, like I said, this chapter had so much behind it, and we touched on majority of it, because I'm really, really excited for the emotional connections that are going to happen the more we read this, right? The more this world opens up, the more people are gonna vibe with Rudo, more people are gonna like be able to understand him. And that is something that Rudo has been looking for this entire time. If you think about it in the grand scheme of things, he lost the only person who really ever saw who he truly was, right? And only really ever knew him for real. So now we are going to see characters who come and actually want to know him and get to know him and want to be in his life to help him out. That shit is super cool, because the familial structure is going to be like the crux of Ruto, if we think about it, because he's never really had any family to begin with other than Recto. His parents abandoned him. We may find his parents down here somewhere. It'd be kind of crazy if Ruto was just a Jinky himself, but we'll talk about that in a theory video at some point. Anyway, man, let me know what y'all thought about this chapter down below. This chapter was amazing to me. Like I said, this shit just keeps getting better and better and better and better and better and better and better as we fucking go on. And it makes me so fucking happy. Gonna make a Jump Festa video really soon. Might drop that this weekend at some point, I don't know. Leave a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new. Don't know if I said that, but we'll see. Thank you guys for your continued support. I will try to get this video out today. But with that being said, it's your boy xDomoSenpaix, and I will catch you guys in the next video.